Silver Age gave DC some of its brightest stars, but not every hero lasted. Some were launched with flashy debuts, promised as the future of comics, and then quietly buried when readers moved on. A Crusader introduced to rival Marvel, erased without explanation. A teenage hero pushed hard in the 60s, now forgotten in archives. And a cosmic champion once central to DC's stories, but never revived. So which heroes were lost to time? Here are 10 DC Silver Age icons quietly buried. At number 10 is Richard Dragon. Entered DC Comics in Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter Issue 1 in 1975, though the character had first appeared a year earlier in the novel Dragon's Fists. Trained by the enigmatic O-Sensei, Richard starred in an 18-issue series where he fought crime with skill and discipline. Alongside him were allies like Ben Turner, who later became Bronze Tiger, and Lady Shiva, one of DC's deadliest fighters. Both would surpass him in fame, yet Richard remained their foundation, the mentor figure who first shaped their path. By the 1980s, Richard no longer headlined comics, but writers reframed him as a hidden master. He became best known as the man who trained Vic Sage, the Question, and in later stories his name surfaced as the quiet teacher behind several of DC's most skilled martial artists. Yet his own appearances dwindled. The decline deepened with the New 52 reboot, which replaced him with a new villain, Ricardo Diaz Jr., who stole the name Richard Dragon. The original martial arts champion effectively vanished from continuity, remembered chiefly through the students and fighters who carried his lessons forward. At number 9 is Tommy Tomorrow. Debuted in Real Fact Comics issue 6 in 1947 as DC's clean-cut hero of the future. A colonel of the Planeteers, he patrolled the 21st century alongside allies like Brent Wood, protecting Earth's colonies and exploring strange worlds. By 1948, he was a regular backup in Action Comics, remaining there until 1959, and later appeared in World's Finest Comics. In the early 1960s, DC gave him trial runs in showcase issues 41 to 47, a sign the company still hoped he could headline amid the growing Silver Age. Yet by 1963, his adventures ceased, and cosmic attention shifted toward newer stars like the Legion of Superheroes. By the Bronze Age, Tommy was largely a relic of DC's pulp sci-fi past. Later reimaginings, such as Howard Chaykin's Darker Twilight in 1990, recast him with a cynical edge. But continuity overhauls like Crisis on Infinite Earths, 0 Hour, and the New 52 pushed him further aside. Though brief alternate versions surfaced, DC never restored him to prominence. At number 8 is Kongorilla. First appeared in Action Comics number 248 in 1959, when explorer Congo Bill gained a magical ring that let him transfer his mind into a powerful golden gorilla. For a brief run, the strip continued in Action Comics and then Adventure Comics through 1961, blending pulp adventure with DC's emerging superhero era. As costumed heroes dominated the 1960s, his feature ended, and the golden gorilla slipped into obscurity. In the Bronze Age, he resurfaced only briefly, notably in Action Comics issues 552 and 553 in 1984 as part of Immortal Man's Forgotten Heroes, where he fought beside Superman against a scheme tied to Vandal Savage. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, he vanished again, remembered mostly as a quirky Silver Age relic. His true comeback arrived with Justice League: Cry for Justice in 2009. Now permanently trapped in the gorilla's body, Kongorilla fought alongside Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern, eventually serving as a Justice League member and co-starring in a Starman/Kongorilla one-shot. The New 52 in 2011 introduced a Prime Earth version, but sidelined him. Later, Rebirth stories offered only brief appearances. Today, Kongorilla remains a nostalgic legacy figure. At number 7 is Immortal Man. First appeared in Strange Adventures issue 177 in 1965, introduced as Klarn, a prehistoric man who forged an amulet from a fallen meteorite that granted him endless reincarnation across history. After a few scattered appearances in the 1960s, he vanished from comics for nearly 2 decades. His major return came in Action Comics issues 552 to 553 in 1984, where he reassembled the forgotten heroes, obscure adventurers like Animal Man and Dolphin, to combat a mysterious alien menace tied to Vandal Savage's schemes. This short revival re-established him as a leader and set the stage for his defining act. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue 10 in 1985, Immortal Man sacrificed himself. expending his immortal energies to help save Earth. That death became his signature moment, marking him as one of the few heroes who truly gave everything in DC's most famous crossover. Afterward, he disappeared from mainstream continuity, and post-crisis reboots downplayed his leadership role. Later, reimaginings, including the 2018 Immortal Men series, attempted to expand the concept but ended quickly, with Klarn killed off again. Today, Immortal Man is remembered chiefly for his final act of sacrifice. At number 6 is Cave Carson. First appeared in The Brave and the Bold issue 31 in August-September 1960. Calvin Cave Carson was introduced as DC's subterranean explorer, equipped with a drilling vehicle called the Mighty Mole. For a few years, he headlined underground-themed tales in anthology titles, appearing in The Brave and the Bold and in Showcase as DC's tryout vehicle for new characters. However, his prominence declined quickly, and over the Silver and Bronze Ages, he remained a niche character, more footnote than fixture. He did make later appearances, including membership in the Forgotten Heroes, though the exact timing and stories are less documented. Decades later, DC revived him in a major way under the Young Animal imprint with Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye in 2016 to 2017, giving him his first true solo modern series. In this reinvention, he's portrayed as a more seasoned adventurer facing bizarre underground and extra-dimensional dangers and dealing with personal stakes. The series ran for 12 issues before ending, and afterward, Carson settled back into relative obscurity. At number 5 is Space Ranger. Debuted in Showcase number 15 in 1958, starring Rick Starr as the protector of the 22nd century. With the help of his shape-shifting alien partner Krill and girlfriend Myra Mason, he patrolled the galaxy in pulp-style adventures. After strong tryouts, he became a regular feature in Tales of the Unexpected and later Mystery in Space, often appearing alongside Adam Strange. Their team-up in Mystery in Space number 94 in 1964 was the high point of his run, showcasing DC's vision of cosmic exploration. By the mid-1960s, his strip ended, and through the 1970s, he lingered mainly in reprints and cameo nods. He did not join the Forgotten Heroes in 1984, and following Crisis on Infinite Earths, his continuity quietly vanished. Later reboots such as Zero Hour and The New 52 gave him no substantial role, though a reimagined version, Ricani Rick Starr, surfaced briefly in Threshold in 2013. Even attempts to fold him into darker reinterpretations faded quickly. Once positioned as DC's space-age pioneer, Space Ranger now survives mostly in memory. At number 4 is Dolphin. First appeared in Showcase issue 79 in December 1968. Introduced as an amphibious girl rescued from undersea captivity, she vanished from comics for years, re-emerging only sporadically in later decades. Her deeper integration into DC mythos occurred later, particularly in Aquaman stories. She formed a romantic relationship with Tempest, Garth. They married and had a son named Serdian, making her part of the Atlantean drama. Tragically, during Infinite Crisis, the Spectre's assault on Atlantis resulted in the presumed deaths of Dolphin and her child. In Blackest Night, she was revived as a Black Lantern corpse. Later, in DC Rebirth, she was reimagined as a sea-changed Atlantean, with bioluminescent and metamorphic traits, defending persecuted underwater folk. However, her revised incarnation has had limited prominence, and today she tends to appear intermittently, rather than as a central figure. At number 3 is Rip Hunter Time Master. Debuted in Showcase issue 20 in 1959, and soon earned his own book, Rip Hunter Time Master, which ran for 29 issues between 1961 and 1965. Alongside his crew in the Time Sphere, he explored past civilizations and distant futures, embodying DC's pulp-style adventure. After the mid-60s, his title was cancelled, and Rip drifted into sporadic guest spots, sometimes aiding the challengers of the unknown, or appearing in team stories. He resurfaced in Action Comics issues 552 to 554 in 1984, joining Superman and the Forgotten Heroes, briefly reaffirming his reputation as DC's time explorer. His most significant revival came in 52 in 2006, where he acted as a mysterious mentor to Booster Gold, operating from a bunker covered in cryptic chalkboard notes. This portrayal raised his profile and made him central to Booster's ongoing series. In 2016, Rip crossed into live action as the leader of the Legends of Tomorrow TV team. But following Flashpoint and the New 52 reboot, his backstory was pared back and his connection to Booster downplayed. Since then, Rip has appeared only intermittently. At number 2 is the Creeper, debuted in Showcase issue 73 in April 1968. Jack Ryder, a television host, transforms into a garishly costumed vigilante whose manic laughter unnerves criminals. DC quickly spun him into Beware the Creeper in 1968-69, though it lasted only 6 issues. Through the 1970s, he appeared as a guest star, notably in The Brave and the Bold and Detective comics, and received backup runs in World's Finest and The Flash. In Secret Origins issue 18 in 1987, his backstory was revised with psychological depth, casting his transformation as a struggle of fractured identity. A full 12-issue series in 1997-98 expanded this dual-nature theme, while his popularity grew among younger audiences after the new Batman Adventures episode Beware the Creeper in 1998. His fortunes faltered in the New 52 era, which reimagined him as a demonic Oni spirit possessing Ryder, erasing his science-based origin. Though DC's 2016 Rebirth restored Ryder in a more classic form, the Creeper now appears only sporadically, a cult figure remembered for failed reinventions as much as his original promise. At number 1 is Hawk and Dove. First appeared in Showcase issue 75 in June 1968, created by Steve Ditko and Steve Skeets. Hank and Don Hall were cast as opposites, Hank embodying aggression, Don embracing calm and peace. They headlined a short standalone series in 1968 to 1969 and made appearances in team titles like Teen Titans, where writers used their contrasting natures to explore themes of war versus peace. Years later, Don Hall died in Crisis on Infinite Earths in Crisis Issues 12, March 1986, while battling the multiversal threat. In 1988, Don Granger took up the mantle of Dove to balance Hank in a rebooted Hawk and Dove series. The Hank plus Don pairing became a cult favorite in their 1989 to 1991 run of Hawk and Dove in Volume 3, often tied to themes of cosmic balance, chaos, and order. But in Armageddon 2001 in 1991, Hank was revealed to become Monarch, and later in Zero Hour, he evolved into Extant. Don remained dead during that arc, and Hank's villain arc ends in apparent demise or cosmic transformation in Zero Hour. While versions of Hawk and Dove, especially Hank with Dawn, have returned in events like Brightest Day and later DC eras, but the original brothers' storyline is largely a legacy. Their concept resurfaces only occasionally. Thanks for watching the video, comment down below your favorite part, and let us know. Also press the subscribe button and let us know.